Okay, Torah Noach, page 10, about 20 lines down. Okay, it's late. The Alter Rebbe is explaining there's Mayim Rabbim. The Mayim Rabbim refers to Tirdas HaParnas. It refers also to the Neshama coming into the Guf. And he says that Lo Yuchal HaChabes Sa'aba, because not only it doesn't extinguish the love, but on the contrary, the person Dafka through their Mayim Rabbim could reach a level that he couldn't reach otherwise. Why? Because through the challenges, and he starts explaining that this Avodah is what's called a Shrabah B'guf and the Malka, to hug the king. It's a direct connection that comes through the difficulties. So we're going to start about 12 lines before the end of the paragraph on test first column. It says, why? Because Dafka through the sparks down here that come from the world of Tehu, can you reach a higher level than the world of Tikkun? And he says, the commercial calls, like the pasuk says in Vayishlach, these are the kings that ruled in Eden. Lefnei Melach Malach Levnei Yisrael, before there was a Jewish king, which represents, the king of Eden represents the Nefesh Habamis, Esav. Lefnei Melach Malach Levnei Yisrael represents Yaakov, which is the world of Tikkun. So he says, really the Nefesh Habamis is higher than the Nefesh Holokis. But that's why Esav was the B'chor we learned. But through the problem is through Shvir Sekelim. These sparks fell all the way down. Like it says, but in the source, they're much greater than Nefesh Holokis. Therefore, Dafka by the Nefesh Holokis coming down into a Nefesh Habamis, and working with that, can you elevate greater than it was? So Dafka the Mayim Rabbim, all the difficulties of Esav, which all the worldly things is Tehu, Dafka can you reach a level of higher, the main Noach, like you said before, the level of Naicha. Therefore, even if they went as they fell down here, Yesham Tagberes on Nefesh Holokis, they have this power over the Nefesh Holokis, which is the level of Isnasus, and not only that, not only that, but it sustains the human. Where does the human sustain themselves from? From inanimate, plant, and animal, which are lower than us. But they're going to another Maamar because it comes from Teil. Why Machbel Adam, and without these animals and plant and all that, not be able to live. The food doesn't need the people. The people need the food more than the food needs the people. So he says, why? Because food comes from a higher level. If food comes from a higher level, then they don't need us. We need them because they come from a higher level. All of this, therefore, they're much greater than the neshamas. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe is coming back to the original point. Dafka through the Mayim Rabbim, Dafka through the neshama coming down, all the way down. This establishing Nefesh Holokis b'Nefesh Habamis Dafka. Dafka by the Nefesh Holokis coming into the Nefesh Habamis. Lasik b'Tirdas Machshavas HaParnas, to be occupied with the problems of business and all that. Binyanim Gashmi, which are called Mayim Rabbim, Dafka through this, can you come to the real level, like you said before, when a person has the level of breaking challenges, that's the level of B'choma Idecha. The Rebbe explained before in the Maamar that there's Or and Choshech, and the ultimate goal is to make Choshech into Or. But the question is, how can you make Choshech into Or if Choshech is Choshech? It's already identified, it's already existence, it's an entity of darkness. How can you make darkness light? So the answer is you tap into a level higher than both. That's the level B'chol Me'idacha B'ligvul. You tap into a level higher than Choshech, higher than Or, and then you can make Or into Choshech and Choshech into Or. That in that level, by the way, there's a pasuk that says, "Hale'ach Esav liYaakov." Is Esav and Yaakov not brothers? And then the pasuk concludes, "Ves Esav senesi, ves Yaakov ahavti." I hated Esav, but I love Yaakov. So it doesn't make sense. The beginning of the pasuk says they're brothers. That means they're equal. If they're equal, why do you want like one and one hate the other? So in the Shadish and the source, they're brothers. Not only the brothers, they're twins. And now that Yaakov is born first. Esav is born first because Tehu is higher than Tikkur. Esav in the source, so Esav is higher than Yaakov. So therefore Esav is born first, but they're brothers. That's in the source. In the source, good and bad are equal, or are equal. But now it comes into the world, down here, so then Tehu falls very low, so therefore it's Esav Senesi. That B'chol Meidecha is a higher level than the neshama was before it came into the body. Shaiser Agnan is Miziv HaShechina, like he said before. In Gan Eden, it's only the ray of the Shechina. But Tehu is not the ray of the Shechina. Tehu is much higher than Gan Eden. Gan Eden is in Bria, or the lower level of Gan Eden is in Yitzira. You're talking about Tehu, which is higher than all those things up there.
Every time you say higher, this one is higher, and then you say this one is same.
That means more revelation, less revelation.
But ultimately, they're all the same.
What do you mean they're all the same?
If you say this one is higher, and then you say the source, the other one is higher, and then it's like in the same circle that we always talk about, there's no higher and no lower.
It depends on which level. In a higher level, there's no higher or lower. But in a lower level, there is.
Yeah.
If you have a circle, and then from the circle comes out a line, right? Picture a lollipop, okay? You have a circular candy, and then you have the stick, yeah? Okay. So in the circle, there's no higher or lower. But once you have the coming down, it's called the kav, so over there you have a beginning and an end. So the source, Yaakov and Esav are the same. Or the Cheshach are the same. Tev and Ra are the same. That's why at the beginning of this week, what we were last week, at the beginning, Or and Cheshach were together. Then by Yavdel Elikim, Bein Ha'or and Bein HaCheshach. Then there had to be a separation between Or and Cheshach. But before, it was all the same. Which is a level, which is the greatness of light. When the dafka comes from darkness, because the source of Nefesh Abamis is greater than the source of Nefesh Olikis. But by the way, that's only in the source. In the source of the source, then Nefesh Olikis is greater. The Nefesh Abamis is not Chelak Olakam Imam Mamish. Nefesh Olikis is. But then there's different levels. Like Shanof, the Lamata says, Vayimlach Vayamas. By day is Kafya, and through breaking evil, Nasat Chisa Mesim. Shat Chisa Mesim. Vayimlach Vayamas. That means the sparks of Tehu would be Vayamas, spiritually. They came down into the level of Ra, into a world of Mavis, spiritual Mavis. But when a Jew elevates the sparks and reveals the source of it, then they become alive in the world of Tehu again. So that's Chesed.
When you elevate, you reveal the source?
Yeah. What do you mean, again, elevate doesn't mean you put it on the second floor. You elevate it means you reveal a greater level of Kedusha in it. Higher and lower in Ruchnius is one simple thing. More revelation, less revelation. In essence, there is no higher or lower. Essence is essence. Higher and lower exists in the world of revelation. Like the Rambam says even in Hilchos Deis, the Rambam says when you speak about Malachim higher than others, Srafim emdim mimaloi. The srafim are on top of the ifanim. Yeah? The Ram says it doesn't mean higher and higher step. It means they have a greater understanding of Elokus. The srafim have a greater understanding of Elokus, so they're on top of the ifanim. But again, higher and lower there doesn't mean first floor, second floor, 10th floor. Okay, it's not that the four worlds, Atzil, Bria, and Tzir, you take an elevator up, you get to Yitzira, and then Bria, and then Atzil. It doesn't work like that. Atzil is down here.
When you hold in an apple, it says Ha'es.
No.
So you elevate the nomen. Okay, so what's happening? If you elevate the essence of the apple?
No. You elevate the spark of Kedusha that's there, and the klipa falls away. In a Gashmitz Kamosha, you eat. The good of the food stays in the body. The bad goes out, right? Then waste.
Yes.
So you separated the good from the bad. So the same thing in Aveda. The whole Aveda world is Aveda Sabirudim.
You recognizing this is God.
What?
When you say bracha, you are recognizing this is God.
That's if you think about the bracha. Not, I don't remember if it said the bracha or not. Obviously it means, yeah, when you say Baruch Atah and Mamshech Atma Santa Avaya and Telekenu to this Melech HaOlam and all that, and you eat it L'Shem Shemayim, yeah, that's what happens. That's one of the reasons why Bechsin, they're anti-fasting. Because there's things to elevate.
Nothing to elevate?
Huh?
Nothing to elevate, you mean?
No, they want to be elevated. They need to be elevated.
It was a big practice.
Huh?
Big practice in Iran, everywhere.
What?
Fasting.
I know.
A lot of people Thursdays and Mondays were fasting.
I know. It didn't help her for the weight either.
You think by saying bracha and doing a mitzvah with it is better off?
Yes.